doesn't become a yes over time, you know.
What's your name?
No!
Gods, didn't your mother teach you any manners?
She got eaten by a void woken.
Forget it.
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this loser woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we?
Bloody dwarves. I'll come back to you. And you better be ready to talk here.
You presume right. Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer. I'm better though. Listen. La la la.
You look like my daddy. His name is Frida. He's waiting for me at home.
I wasn't doing anything. I swear.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Please, please, please.
A no doesn't become a yes over time, you know.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about
Name?
us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Well, you aren't here on my list. Scram, eh? We're trying to catch a killer here.
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep
The
it
elf is
quiet.
reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin, gently tugging at it.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history?
I know you can. I forgot how to sing. I did.
You, Jill, is that right? I've a few questions for you. You are Jill, aren't you?
I ain't saying nothing.
Bloody dwarves, I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No. I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand dismissively.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these things, do we not? Now, please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
You should be a little more afraid.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
I shall hold my head steady.
Please, please, please.
That's enough now.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy.
Dwarves,
You hear that?
I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
Please, please, please.
I forgot how to sing. I did.
The ship, of course.
How dare you classify this slop
His
as
eyes
food?
snap open.
I've
He looks
seen
at you
more
and
appetizing
frowns.
things coming out of plague
Murder!
pigs.
Ah, that's what they were going on and on about.
There's nothing else I can
I wouldn't know anything about it.
Turnips and water are all
I
was
kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows who done it. And the mayor knows who done it too.
And I don't intend to do
His
away
eyes flutter shut, and he assumes his position of repose once more.
Whether they catch me is another matter. But I ain't one to hide my accomplishments.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the
A wave of
first thing
sound
about
washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash, and
And
Kid, you been down by the room up the hall?
No,
You sure about that?
no.
What's your name?
the fellow cocks his ear, listening.
Gods, didn't you
that isn't anger. It's
She got eaten by a void broker.
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
Get it?
anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close.
You one of them? A Divine Order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake.
Classify this slop as food. I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe
Well,
that has
well,
the Magister's more
what have we
concern,
here?
more appetite.
A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse.
One of us wouldn't.
After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this.
We just skip to the part
Now
where I
then, to
reassure
business.
you and you shut
You will
up.
answer me 3 questions. The first one is this.
Mad
Can you cook?
and sufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you.
Ah,
if you
music
quiet
to
long
my
enough for me to
beleaguered
listen.
stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
A no doesn't become a yes over time.
Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic, a bag is as good as a shirt kind of style. I shouldn't be getting my hopes up. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start.
Mad?
So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we?
What are you trying to hear anyway?
As per your own testimony, you can cook and groom, but you have the fashion sense of a monkey in a clown suit. Still, beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave.
It was one of them. I know it.
My slave, of course. Oh, but I see. Yes, I suppose it must take some time for the full extent of this honor to sink in. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort George.
One of us wouldn't kill our
Now
own.
shoo!
They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
An elf
Mad?
sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with it.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no. But I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, it seems you and another elf engaged in an action somewhat similar to the one I just performed.
We just skip to the part
Only rather more vigorously.
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
It was one of them. I know it.
And if she tries to... Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to
The
concentrate.
Magister starts, recognition growing on his face as he looks right at you.
You look just like...
The Magister's face turns white. He makes a move to step backwards, then stops himself as his hand closes on the weapon at his hip.
It is you. Ifan Ben Mesd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander, way back in the war.
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
The Magister smiles, a tight little smile of pride. He stands a bit taller.
Classify this slop
I-
as food. I've seen
With
more
visible
appetizing
effort, he
things
stops
coming out
himself
of
from saying
plague-stricken
whatever it was
pigs.
he was about to say. His face closes over into a cold mask.
On your way, sorcerer. On your way.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
It was one of them. I know it.
And if she tries to run, shoot to kill. Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just...
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
Trust me, with Bishop Alexander in charge, things will get a lot better from here on out. He's God-woken, you know. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Classify this slop as food. I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
What on earth is the matter?
Keep with those bubbles. Try and murder most
Nothing else I
foul.
can make, Your
I
Majesty.
strongly suspect you
Turnips
know
and
all
water
about it.
are all I was
You
given.
seem on edge of, do you?
This again.
Perhaps you're absolutely
I've never
right.
dined
Murder
on
most
anything less
foul.
than a dozen
I
course
strongly
dinner,
suspect
and I
you
don't
know
intend
all
to
about
do
it.
away with the custom.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're
there has been a
absolutely
murder,
right.
Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
No, I'm afraid I always perform my part solo. Do stay and watch, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive, but only just...
Oh! What? What happened? Must have been the turnips. Water? Wine, for goodness sake! Oh.
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
It's no use. Your words do not seem to reach her.
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, greyish-black clouds swirl through them. She doesn't stir. The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
Nice haircut, Smiley. The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.